Alright, what's going on, ladies and gents? Today we're going to talk about the new Dragon Ball series coming out. Supposedly, a new Dragon Ball series is supposed to debut in July. I'm not really sure on an exact date, but yeah, so new Dragon Ball series, and I want to talk about this because everybody on the internet is talking about this, and I figured, hey, it's one of my favorite shows of all time, not to mention the fact that, you know, I'm just one of the biggest Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball and even GT fans out there. And I wanted to touch on this also because people have been complaining. They've been saying, no, this isn't a good thing because Dragon Ball's already dead. Let it stay dead. I honestly feel like for Dragon Ball, they shouldn't do that. Okay, so Dragon Ball has about, I think, 5 seasons. Dragon Ball has 5 seasons. Dragon Ball Z has 9 seasons. Now, the thing about that is Dragon Ball can still go on, okay? Like, it's not, it's not like, you know, they are just kind of reaching. Like, for example, I'll take Yu-Gi-Oh, okay? Yu-Gi-Oh had, like, God knows how many episodes. I can't even remember. But it got to a point where they were just kind of, like, reaching. They were just making episodes for, it's like they were making episodes for the sake of making episodes. Like, it got so ridiculous how that show got. Like, I felt like this show should have ended once the Pharaoh and Yugi had that last duel. That's where the show should have ended. But for some reason, they decided to keep just pulling it out over and over and over. And then they made GX. GX was really great. I loved it. I felt like that was like the perfect, not like the perfect show obviously, but that was like the perfect spin-off, I would say, for Yu-Gi-Oh! Was GX. It was canon. It still had like a lot of hints from like the other characters from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! And they had like it was just really cool. I'm not gonna dive too deep into it because I'm not doing some review on it. I'm just kind of giving an example right now. And then there was Yu-Gi-Oh! Zealous, and then there's another one after that. No, there's 5Ds, there's Zealous, and there's one after that. They were kind of like reaching, you know, they were just kind of making episodes for the sake of making episodes. Dragon Ball, it had a lot of cool moments. It had a lot of cool villains. I mean, I can't think of every last one off the top of my head right now, but it had a lot, and I felt like, oh man, I felt like there could still be more that they can do, you know, without it getting to the point where it's starting to get ridiculous. Now, it says Dragon Ball. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if it's like, you know, the games, like it says Dragon Ball Xenoverse, but it, you know, because it doesn't say Dragon Ball Z. I'm not really sure if they're gonna do like in a, you know, a regular version, like, you know, like Dragon Ball Z or anything crazy like that. But I do think that it's gonna be like, you know, the original Dragon Ball from like freaking I think it was 1988 or 1987, one of the two. And but yeah, I think it's a great show. I do think it should be brought back to life because there is so much they can do with it, especially with today's technology. I feel like it'll look better, it'll sound better. There's more, there's just so many endless possibilities, and people are looking at it from like the wrong, I mean, I understand actually where they're looking at it. I'm not gonna say they're looking at it from the wrong direction, because we've all had, I mean, I'm pretty sure you listening to this now, you have a show that you like and it's been destroyed due to the fact that they just keep making episodes when it should have ended a long time ago. Cough cough, Naruto. And I feel that they can still do more with the series. They can still make more villains. They can still make, you know, a different time setting without it interrupting the lore of Dragon Ball, you know? Because there is that gap between Goku being, you know, like young Goku to being like a teenager or like a young adult to being the Goku he is now. There's still, you know, there's plenty of space in there to make, you know, like, I guess a different, like different time space. I think that's what I'm looking for. But there's still room to add lore, basically. Although it's not really a good idea to add lore to a story that you've already established. It's really risky, and there's definitely bound to be some conflicting plot holes, you know, here and there. But it's possible. I think they can do, you know, they can even bring back some old villains, you know, like Jesus Christ, there's been so many. What's that dude? Was Garlic Jr. one of the wasn't Garlic Jr. one of the ones from Dragon Ball, or was he in Dragon Ball Z? Or there's Emperor Pilaf, I think that guy too. But yes, they can do a lot with the show. I don't think it should go on like this should be a continuous thing, like, you know, back to back to back to back, like, you know, 4 seasons in. I think this should only be just a few seasons. I don't think they should make this an ongoing thing unless they really have some concrete stuff that won't interrupt the lore of Dragon Ball Z, or just kind of like, you know, put plot holes in it. You know, we don't need. But see, that's one of the things about, you know, that's one of the risky things about doing something like this. Is I'll take for example Metal Gear. A lot of the games, they really don't come out in chronological order. I mean, you have 1, you have 2, and then 3 goes back into the future, and then 4 that goes up, you know, well actually no, I'm sorry. 3 goes back to the past, I'm sorry. 3 goes way back to like 1964, and then 4 goes to 2014, and it's kind of like there's some small conflicting plot holes in the story, but like I said, that only happens when you're adding lore to a story that you've already established, you know? So I'm just hoping that it doesn't get out of control to the point where we're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, all of us Dragon Ball fans are looking for stuff that reminds us of our childhood. We're looking for things that make us remember why. I mean, obviously we still remember why, but we want to see what, you know, what made us fall in love with this wonderful series. We don't want to see just some new spin-off type crap like Metal Gear Rising, or, you know, something ridiculous where we really don't understand what's going on. We don't understand the villains, or, you know, Goku. We want to be able to relive our childhoods, and I'm pretty sure anybody who watches Dragon Ball Z can totally agree with me. We want to relive our childhoods. We want to experience all the great moments of Dragon Ball again, like as if we've never even seen it before. And like I said, with today's technology, and I feel like things have greatly advanced, obviously, since like 1988. I feel that the voice acting will be better. The character models will obviously look a lot better. You know, like I said, you know, technology and all that. And I really do believe that this is going to be a very fantastic series. I don't know exactly how, you know, what the route, you know, it's going in. I'm not really sure on anything, honestly. The only thing I know is that there's a new Dragon Ball series coming in July, and I know that I'm definitely I'm gonna watch it. And one last thing I wanted to talk about. One main reason why I feel like this should be done is because anime's dead at this point. Okay, let's be realistic here. Anime's dead. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, I don't want to offend anyone who's watching anime or who's watching a certain specific anime that they'll die for. I'm just saying, for the most part, like, there is no anime out there that is on everyone's minds, okay? Like, seriously, what anime can or has competed with Dragon Ball Z in the last 20 years, or the last 10 years for that matter? See, you can't think of anything because there's really nothing. I mean, what are you going to say, Attack on Titan? I mean, Attack on Titan, obviously, you know, I've heard people talk a lot about it, but it's nowhere close to the level of One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Yu Yu Hakusho. All these animes, they're nowhere on that level. And I feel like at this point, anime's dead. I mean, I watched like the first 2 seasons of Naruto, like, well, actually I watched, I think, the first season of Naruto and like half of the second season about 2-3 weeks ago, okay? And, you know, after that, well, actually, the reason why I didn't watch it was because I had to reformat my computer, but that's not the point. The point was that before that, I have not watched any kind of anime in like years. Like, it's been like at least 5 or 6 years. Anime, for the most part, is completely dead. I mean, there's nothing out that is a heavy contender. And I mean, I feel like if it wasn't for these games, it wouldn't even exist. Okay, now, like I said, you know, there are people who watch these shows. There are people who watch, you know, Attack on Titan and other shows. And I'm not trying to offend you by no means. I'm just kind of stating a fact that for the most part, anime really isn't relevant. And Dragon Ball Z, I feel like, will save anime. It'll make it more relevant. And plus, it'll make me start watching it again. Because, like I said, I watched a few anime in my day, okay? I've watched Yu Yu Hakusho. I've watched Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds. I already said Yu Yu Hakusho. I've watched Gundam. I've watched Bobo, however many Bo. I think it's like 7. I watched that though. I've watched did I say One Piece? I think I said One Piece already. What else have I watched? Oh man, I've seen quite a few, you know, and it's been a lot of mainstream anime. I get that, but the fact still remains was that, you know, back then those were great, and now at this point they're just basically dead. I mean, I'm not saying Naruto's dead. A lot of people still talk about Naruto, play it, you know, all that good stuff. But for like the most part, Dragon Ball Z is dead. Not dead in the sense that nobody talks about it, but like the series, you know, like, well, okay, let me rewind. Let me just kind of take that back. Dragon Ball Z, the series, is not dead by no means. It's just that, like, you know, the show's off air, okay? Meaning, I'm saying more like the show's been put to rest. It's not dead by no means. Everyone talks about it, and they're going to talk about it till the end of time. Dragon Ball Z is like one of the most biblical things that's ever happened to this planet. I mean, let's be realistic here. It really is. But Dragon Ball Z's been put to rest, I should say. It's not dead. And there's, like I said, there's nothing out. I mean, there's really nothing out right now. Attack on Titan is like the only thing that most people will consider watching these days, because most anime has just gotten stale or just not interesting. I've tried watching, I can't even remember the name of the show, but I've tried getting into other anime, and boy, do I get so bored. But like I said, you know, I think that Dragon Ball is like gonna save anime as a whole. It's gonna kind of like revitalize the community in a way, if that makes any sense. Because I mean, if you like, okay, seriously, I'm pretty sure you watching this video right now, you've already seen this in your sub box. Okay, you've already seen a Dragon Ball video in your sub box, because everybody's talking about it. Everybody's excited. I guarantee you. And okay, this is not a shot, you know, against Attack on Titan. I'm just making an example. If they made a new Attack on Titan not series, but a season on Netflix, I guarantee you, you'll probably see one person in your sub box talking about that, as opposed to like the other hundreds and hundreds of people you're subscribed to. You're just gonna see straight up Dragon Ball, you know, news update, Dragon Ball this, Dragon Ball that, Dragon Ball what's it called, Resurrection of Frieza, you know, all that stuff. People talk about Dragon Ball Z. People love Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and it's just, like I said, it's a biblical series that nobody can touch. Nobody can, and that's why I say Dragon Ball can truly revitalize the anime community and Dragon Ball in general. And I think it's a great idea to bring back the series, reboot the series, because it's just amazing. It's amazing. I know you watching this right now, you're gonna watch it. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball, I don't care what you say, you're gonna watch it most likely. So yep, that's all I want to talk about for this video. I talked a lot. Wow, I don't usually talk for like 12 minutes at a time. But that's it for this commentary. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Dragon Ball coming back, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and peace!